In this video, we will create a simple API with Node and Express. We will create two endpoints, one GET route and one POST route. There will be only mock data in this tutorial, but the principle is the same as with using a database. For doing our queries, we'll be using Postman. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more content like this. And for any requests for future videos, post it in the comments and I'll be sure to check it out. With that, let's begin. Okay, let's start by creating our app.js file. This will look like this, and we'll import a couple of dependencies that we will install in a minute. Express, require, express, and then we'll need body parser, like so. Require body dash parser, like so. So that's the dependencies we need. Now we will do npm init to initialize our project, so we get a package.json file, and then we'll install our dependencies. So let's do that now. So in your terminal, pointing to your project's directory, type npm init, and this will initialize our project. So here you can specify a number of parameters for your project. I will just hit enter on everything because for our purposes, it's not that important. But feel free to type in whatever you like here. And at the end, it says, is this okay? And we'll hit enter again. And then we get this package.json file. So now we can install our dependencies. So in the same terminal, let's hit npm install express, because we'll need that to do a number of things related to our server, and then npm install body parser as well, because we'll need that to parse the body that we are putting in Postman, so we can do post requests as well. So let's take a look at our package.json file, and we see our dependencies installed. So now we will start creating our app.js file and actually use those dependencies. So now that our dependencies are installed, we can start typing out our code. So let's create a const called app, and it is equal to express, like so. So now we'll be able to use Express throughout our app. Then we'll use body parser with app.use body parser, like so. And because it's deprecated, we need to specify specifically what we need, which in our case is JSON. This enables us to use the body in our body part of our Postman request. So we can handle bodies in our post requests. Then we'll specify the port. We'll say this is 3001. And then we'll create our object, our data object that we'll be working with. We'll call this customers, and it's an array of objects. And we'll just have key value pairs of first name and last name, like so. And we'll just put in some random names here. This can be whatever you like. I'll just put in something and copy it 2 times more. Harry Potter maybe, and maybe some pirate action, pirate with the Jack Sparrow, and that is fine for now. So now let's begin creating our get route, which will return all of our customers. That is all it will do. So let's do that now. So to create our get route, we'll simply say app.get and then specify the URL or route rather to where we need to go to access this data. So this will be our endpoint. And we'll just say customer list. And then we need some parameters here for the request and the result. This will be a part of a callback function. And inside the callback function, we'll simply return result and we'll send the customers. So when we hit this endpoint in Postman, we'll be using Postman. It will send a result back of customers. So this array. Let's check that out now. So a couple of things before we can actually hit this endpoint and see the result. We need to make our server open so we can listen to that specific port which we have specified. So let's do that. We'll say app.listen to our specified port and then a callback function without parameters. And here we'll just say console.log and example app listening at http localhost, and then we could hard code it here, but instead let's just do backticks so we can actually do this dynamically. And then it's to include variables in your string like this. It's $sign and then curly brackets and then our variable. So let's take a look at that. Now inside our terminal, we will do node app.js to start our development server. And now we can see example app listening at localhost 3001. So now I have opened the program we are going to use to call our endpoint, which is called Postman. It's a super useful program for calling all sorts of endpoints. Here we see I've created a GET request, but this could be whatever. It could be post, put, patch, delete, but we, for this purpose, need the GET request. This is the endpoint we're about to call. We have specified the port to be 3001, it's localhost, and then our GET route that we created here is /customer_list. This is identical to this one. Just one thing to note, you need to check off the box for content type application /JSON. So when I hit send here, we get the list back that we specified earlier. So what we have created here is basically a super simple API with one endpoint, which is called /customer_list. Let's expand on this a little bit and create a post route as well. So underneath our get route, let's do basically the same thing with app.post instead of get, and the endpoint URL part of our endpoint, which we'll just call customer, and then exactly as the get route, the request and the response or result part of our callback function here, our parameters. And here I like to just say log out the request body, just so I know what I'm dealing with. And it's request.body. We'll see in a minute what this means. And then we'll create a new constant called new customer. And this will be the request.body. And we'll add that new customer to our customers array. So customers.push new customer, just like that. And then finally, we'll send the result of just a string customer added, just like that. So let's take a look at how that looks in Postman. So while having our terminal running the local server in the background, let's head over to Postman. And here we have the GET request from before. We're going to alter this a little bit and make it into a POST request. And the local host is the same and the port is the same, 3001. And this is our endpoint, and we need to change that as well because the new endpoint is just customer. Note that here in the header, we need to check off for content type application.json. This is related to why we need to include body parser in our project. Because body parser actually makes the data we specify in the body to be available for us in our code. So now everything is ready except for making the actual body that we want to attach to our customer list. Let's do that now. With first, the first key value pair is first name. And this value will be the new value for our new customer. We'll just have some test data here. And then secondly, we have the last name as the second key value pair. Let's just say new guy like this. And when we now hit send with our terminal running in the background, this should attach this new object into our customer list. Let's try. Now we get customer added. And if we run the GET request again, go to GET request and customer list and run that, we see new guy has been attached to our customer list. If you found this video helpful and you would like to see more, don't forget to like and subscribe, and see you in the next one.